What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting going here in just a couple moments. Hope you're all feeling good. I'm feeling grateful today. I'm feeling positive. Markets might be chopping around, but we got a plan. Ask yourself today, what's your plan today? What's your plan this week? What's your plan this month? Let's dive into this. We got a lot of great charts we're going over today. I want to see everybody engaged. Let's tie this together. This is a community, baby. So let's go ahead and jam to some tunes. Let's get this chat popping in here. Ask some questions. What different coins are you looking at right now? What do you want to move? What do you think's going to move? Are you buying? Are you selling? Let everybody know what's going on. What's your agenda? Let's dominate this market together. Big old Biddy says he wants this link up trend to be real. Let's talk about that. We could definitely pull out some link today. Also look at some SEI. We're gonna be looking at a bunch of different things today. The market is setting up for an incredible opportunity to be inbound. So are you ready for it? It all starts with where you're at in your mind and in your heart. As silly as that sounds, it's not foo-foo. It's the real juice, baby. Where you are in your mind and in your heart will affect how you engage with these charts. Trading and investing is a great analogy, there's the word, to your life. How you deal with stress, how you deal with emotions, how you deal with struggle and uncertainty. It puts it on blast. So if you cannot be real with yourself, you cannot dominate this market. So let's do this together. We're about to hop in this. Sitting on 35K USDT, says Colton Winkleman. Confused and overwhelmed what to do right now. Well, let's talk about that. I'll bring that up as soon as we get live, as soon as we go live. We're going to be getting going here in just a moment. So I want every single one of you. We should have 20. We have 25 people in here pre-stream. We should be having 25 likes. Let's keep those likes up. Keep that ratio going positive. Let's let YouTube know they should push this out to more people. We're going to break these charts down. So everybody get ready. What's up, everybody? How you feeling? We got to get our mind right. We got to get our hearts right so we can get our money right. You're focusing only on the money. It comes at a cost of your mind, your spirit, your heart. As silly as that sounds, we've got to come correct. Otherwise, we're going to just be in this market donating our money to other people. I saw great comments in here before we got going in the pre-stream. Said I have $35,000 in USDT sitting on the sideline. bit overwhelmed, uncertain what to do. But that's what this stream's about. That's what we do on a daily basis. Try to provide you the tools, the resources, the strategies to make sure that you have a good idea of what to do. And also you can build a strategy that works for you, for your goals. That's what this is about. This is not to inflate my pockets. This is not to inflate some meme coin I'm invested in. You guys see, I rarely ever bring up meme coins, and it's only if you got several of you are asking about it, we'll do it in passing. We talk about real assets here in the digital ecosystem so that we can dominate and step into the future together. But it all starts right here with our head. That's right. Everything we do starts with where we come from, in our head, in our heart, in our spirit. Are we grateful? Do we have a strategy and an action plan that we are holding ourselves accountable to? Do we have an agenda that we understand the why to? What's your why? Ask yourself, what is my why? Why am I doing this? Whether it's being invested in trading crypto, whether it's a particular relationship, whether it's a passion project, whether it's a TV episode you're watching or series, or your TV binging. Why are you doing that? What are you escaping from? Sometimes relaxation can be the only thing needed to help you reset, but far too many of us fall in the trap of just overwhelming ourselves with relaxation. In reality, it's not relaxation, it's an escape. So same thing in this chart. If you are chasing gains, you're only going to donate your money to somebody with a better strategy, with an action plan, with accountability, with discipline. So let's start this day with gratitude. Let's start this day with what's my action plan, and then let's step into it with accountability. That's what we're doing here. Now, with that being said, we got a lot to talk about today. So if this is your first time, I can guarantee you this is not going to be your last time. Join us here in BitLab Academy. My name's Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the community. If you look right down below the video, if it does not say subscribed yet, I don't know what you're doing. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ding the bell, and get involved with us here, because this is all about laying out that action plan for you and helping you build your own action plan. So let's talk about it. Bitcoin dominance. Sort of breaking down here, not only breaking down on this smaller time frame. We're looking, this is actually the weekly, but we're seeing this especially. Let's look at this on the hourly chart. On the hourly chart, this is just, look at this collapse here on the dominance. And when did this start? Ooh, wouldn't you believe? Right here. Tuesday, the 9th. What was that date? Well, we know January 10th was the ETF approval. The 11th, it went live. And look at this. Why would this collapse? Everybody was expecting the price to explode, but what we're really seeing here is that exposition of the buy the rumor, sell the news narrative. And what we're seeing is here a rotation of capital. This is showing us a rotation of capital outside of Bitcoin into other assets in the digital ecosystem. Why do we know it's assets in the other assets in the digital ecosystem? Well, because this is a chart that's showing the dominance of Bitcoin within the crypto ecosystem. So this is falling as other assets in the digital ecosystem are becoming stronger. Now, is every profit taken going in the digital assets? No, absolutely not. It never will be. It won't be in the next few years unless everything's digital. But what this is showing is in this broad digital ecosystem that all of us are dancing in, navigating, trying to make money in, we're seeing this rotation of capital. And this was being telegraphed in this chart. We can see strong uptrend on the dominance. This means Bitcoin is performing broadly better than most of the altcoin market. And then what do we see? Right, coming all the way into here. And remember, as I'm dragging my mouse across this, I'm also looking down at the technical data that is relative to these specific areas that I'm looking at. And as we move our mouse across this, I can see I'm only here on the 1 hour. Let's get to like the 6 hour. So this is where we're looking right here. Let's go a little bit smaller. 1 hour time frame. So on this 1 hour time frame, as I'm dragging my mouse across this, we see dominance really pushing higher. This is that narrative that had to do with the ETF, buying that speculation in the event that the ETF launched and we did get God candles, and we did not. We got one impulse, which turned out to be a trap, and the price reversed. But if we're looking specifically on dominance, remember, this is an important chart. I'm not trading the dominance chart. No, nobody's trading the dominance chart. But what I'm using the dominance chart for is to identify if I should be more heavily allocated in Bitcoin or if I should be rotating that capital into other projects in the ecosystem. And this is telling the story right here. As the dominance is pushing up, Bitcoin was still the asset to be in. But what do we start seeing? We start seeing technical signals that are starting to show weakness in this movement, weakness in this pushing higher. As a technical data, we see this line, all these three triangles right here on the tops of these momentum waves. We have the red line here also. If we zoom in, see these red lines, two bearish divergences. We also have a bearish divergence right here on this orange line, which is the stochastics. This is high. This is a lower high. We also see RSI, high, lower high. So we have momentum bearish divergence, stochastic, and RSI bearish divergence. And where would it be? That would be from right here to right here. So we had weakness coming into the signals as the dominance was pushing higher. This is before the ETF news was fully realized. So the technical data, that's why they say, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. Now you can trade on news, sure, but it's going to be a fool's errand. Use news as an auxiliary mechanism for understanding why a narrative is somewhat what it is, but look into the chart because the chart is telling you what is likely coming. And in this case, we see the dominance pushing up and we see weakness in technical signals as this charts higher and higher, and the technical signals are showing weakness coming in as this is breaking, as this is coming to fruition with the news narrative being fully realized. So the chart was telling us Bitcoin, the dominance at least, Bitcoin moving more quickly than the altcoin market, than the other assets in the digital ecosystem, that narrative was about to flip. So coming back over to the chart, let me go over it right here. Coming back over to the chart, we can see right here, let's go to the 4 hour. We're going to go to the BitLab trading stack. We got some pretty major signals that we got to pay attention to. Let's look to the signals, not to the price. Okay? Let me say that again. Let's look to the signals, not at the price. The price is only one of the technical signals we can look at, but we need to look at the price of any asset, whether it's Bitcoin or oil. Look at that relative to what's happening with the strength of that asset across a period of time. Looking at, as price is pushing higher, is the strength keeping up with that? Is momentum starting to wane, meaning getting smaller bullish impulses as it's pushing higher? Yes, pushing higher, but we're seeing smaller impulses, and we're also seeing weakness coming into the technical signals. That would be signaling that there may be not enough data, not enough technical fuel to really continue pushing that asset up the hill and higher. Maybe it's a little overheated. We want to use technical signals, a confluence of data in combination with the price that helps us identify what trend we're in and where we're at in relationship to a trend line or a known price area on the chart. And all those things together give us that signal. Should I be buying, selling, or sitting on my hands? That's essentially what the stoplight action protocol is. That's the simple mechanism for you to really look at the chart and gain an understanding about what you should be doing. If we're trading on our emotions, then we're trading in an ineffective way that cannot be consistent, and we're also more likely to be giving our money to other smarter traders with better strategy. So in the case where we're at right now, we need to be looking to what's going on the chart and outlining what do the technical data show us. Well, we know we're in the uptrend. We talked about this yesterday, and we're going to be doing some content here on some altcoins here in just a moment. But I just wanted to get a brief overview about what's going on here on Bitcoin, because we've had this impulse. We're breaking down. We're still holding in the same area we talked about yesterday. Now, most importantly, I want to pull back up, and I shared this in the posting area on YouTube and in the Discord, and that is this chart right here. I was talking about this chart right here. Let's see. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. So yesterday was 16th. So right here is where we were talking about on this sort of swing to the upside. And I pointed out yesterday, which was right here. I pointed out yesterday, if this starts breaking higher, we need to watch this region right here. And this region is this previous high and this previous low. And if we take that out, we're likely going to make a run. If we don't get rejected, which look, initially we got rejected, we're going to make a run likely for this next level. And this is exactly what's played out. And we're seeing that this weakness basically immediately came in, got rejected, and it came back down, and it's sitting right here in this same chop zone that it had before. So this is an area, a marked area on the chart that's telling us this is a level that is interesting. And so prices come back to this area and currently is holding. But if we lose this area, there could be a little bit further downside. And there's a lot on the table today about what's going on in the market because there's a huge court case going on right now with Coinbase and the SEC. And I wanted to dive into that just a moment. But before we do, I want to do a little bit of a roll call. If you're new here, let us know you're new. We want to welcome you in. We got a wonderful, wonderful community. We got a wonderful family, actually, which is what this is here at BitLab. And I want to welcome anybody that's new here. And if you are a member, shout out to each and every one of you members. I see you with the blue names and the BitLab badges next to you. Some of you guys are filling up because you've been members now for 2 or 3 months. And that's going to get fuller and fuller. It's going to start to change colors. It's going to turn into neon with beams coming out of it. So I can't wait to see as people do that. Now, everybody hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Join us here. Ding the bell. And I want to see everybody share something they're grateful for. Because remember, we have to start our day with gratitude so we can enter the charts when we're about to trade from a place of abundance, not a place of need. If we are needy, we've all seen it in our relationships, in our life, with money. When we need it, we don't get it. Why? Because it changes the dynamic by which we interact with something. So let's go into this market. Let's go into our relationships. Let's go into our day, every day, with the place of gratitude and abundance so that we can create more of that. That's what this is about. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on right now. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure you give me a follow at Kelly Kellum. Where did that page go? It's right here. Boom. Make sure you give me a follow at KELOY, Give me a follow there. Just point this out because there's so many fake profiles out there. And also make sure you're following the correct BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. And this is what we want to talk about today. Pay attention to the altcoins. Why altcoins? Well, we could see some volatility today based on what comes from this case. The case I'm talking about today, which has been on the books for some time, and I've even made mention of this in the past, but we also see Dan Gambardella, crypto capital venture. If you guys don't watch his channel, you should definitely check him out on YouTube. He does great content. And he's been sharing about this for the last 2 or 3 weeks. January 17th is an important day. It may be, in fact, the results of this may, in fact, be more important than what in the near term, I should say, than the ETF news with Bitcoin. ETF news with Bitcoin, in reality, is going to take time to play out in the charts. Right now, it was a news, buy news, sell, buy the rumor, sell the news sort of event. So it was a rumor. It came to fruition. Now people are taking profits on that. But as we see flows open up and, data really start just pushing forward, more people have access, the ability to adopt Bitcoin, and that will be a pass-through way for a lot more people coming into crypto as well. It's going to be incredible over time, but this may have an immediate impact on the altcoin market, most specifically because of this debate regarding securities and regulation by enforcement and all the just trash that the SEC has been throwing at the crypto community over the last year. A couple years, but specifically over the last year and a half. We see Eleanor Tarrant, who is tweeting about some of the things that are being talked about in there. Says another exchange here. SEC lawyer, these 12 or 13 tokens are computer code. Well, this is the judge. Fila, maybe it's Fila. Fila interrupts. Sorry, but isn't that kind of what your friends at the back table referring to Coinbase are saying and wondering what we're doing here? SEC lawyer, yes, Your Honor. And I have a point, and I'll get to it. Note, SEC lawyer cites Judge Rakoff's ruling in the Terra case. This is Terra Luna. And the ecosystem surrounding a token is what makes it a security. Judge F. Judge F also just referenced Bill Hinman in connection with the position that a token in and of itself is not a security. Wasn't it Mr. Hinman who said that? Someone who was part of the SEC. There's going to be a lot of fallout as to what comes here. Something important to note that Judge Fila actually takes into consideration is that the implication of the SEC government's, the SEC's actions, what implications it has, what they do, what does that have an impact on retail investors? Fila says, I care about how the law develops in the case before me, and I care about what it means going forward. This is what we want to hear. We need more people like Judge Faya from the Coinbase SEC court case going on right now, saying, I care about how the law develops in the case before me, and I care what it means going forward. This is the type of leadership we need. This is what we need to see from our government. Stop looking to Howey tests from 1933 before computers were even a thing. Look to what is developed now, the change in the ecosystem, the change in the environment, the change in culture, the change in technology, and realize that all these decisions that are being made will either help propel us into this new age of change and growth and transparency, or it will limit us. It will shackle us to our past. And aren't we all trying to break away from our past and forge on into a new future? That's what crypto is about. That's what blockchain is about. It's about unlocking our potential. We need more people like Judge Faya. That's what we need. And if you agree with that, hit that like button and subscribe and join us here. We got to jump back in here because we got a lot of charts we got to go over, but we got to talk about this. We got to have a discussion. We have to have a conversation. And you all need to do this when you're reading any of this type of content or watching the news or reading a news article. It's not just downloading what somebody puts at you. It's seeing what they are presenting and then having a conversation with yourself, playing the devil's advocate for both good and evil, to understand what it is that this person is trying to get across to you and if there is a narrative underlying that they're pushing. If we don't do that, then we might as well just be sheep and send us to the slaughter. So going on here, we got to jump into what's going on with the market. Dogecoin, the only reason I bring this up is because we're talking about what's happening in the altcoin market. Dogecoin is a great metric of huge sentiment coming into the market in terms of retail investors coming in and getting engaged with the space. We're seeing Dogecoin is setting up for a potential push up. And I think this is going to be similar across much of the altcoin ecosystem. But come over here and look at the total 3 market cap. Sorry, like for some reason, if any of you guys have the answer to this, please tell me. This mouse on my desk upstairs works perfectly. If I use it down here and I've got a perfect surface, I've tried it on different surfaces, when it connects, it moves, it doesn't even lag, it just barely moves. So I got to use my trackpad today as a point. So looking here, if you have the answer or solution to that, let me know. Looking here at the total 3 market cap, we are in a wonderful position right now as to where we want to be positioned to take advantage of profits coming up in a very, very near incredible bull cycle. And does that mean we're going up from here? Well, there's arguments to be made that we may see another pullback. There may be another dump that's coming, and it may be relatively soon, but I'm okay with that happening or not happening. This is what's important right now. We see this trend line right here. Where does that go? Boom. We see this trend line coming. This is a total 3. Remember, all coins in the market, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. All you do is you type in total 3, see like this. By the way, you don't always have to click up here. You can literally just click on your chart and then start typing. It'll pull stuff right up. Come over here, you see crypto and total. You have total, which is all crypto. Total 3, which is all crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And total 2, which is all crypto minus Bitcoin. So we're looking here at the altcoin market, the strength of it coming to the upside. Now, one of the things that we see here is that this is kind of somewhat broadening, just a touch there. There's a slightly broadening wedge. You can also do it, from here. It's slightly broadening. It can also be a channel. It's going to relatively have the same impact. These rising channels or rising broadening wedges tend to break out to the downside. And this is what we've seen. This broke out to the downside. It did impulse back inside of it, but this is the important consideration. Everybody wants an altcoin season right now because they want to see the market move and they want to capitalize on the gains because we're not patient. The market is positioning itself to have an incredible bull market, probably like none we've ever seen, because the risk-adjusted nature of where we're at right now and the adoption and the awareness, yes, we're very early, but now we're broadly getting adoption across the world. Governments are talking about different ways to integrate crypto, regulate it in a meaningful way to empower growth and innovation. But it doesn't mean the crypto market is ready to, right now, this day, absolutely moonshot to the upside. Don't get blinded by your bias. Don't get blinded by your bias. Use a strategy. Have mechanisms that inform you about when to get in, when to get out, how to navigate this in a meaningful way so that you don't get yourself caught in a trap. Because looking at this chart right here, we see the total 3 market cap, all these altcoins, the altcoin market pushing to the upside, but we have broken down out of this rising channel. We do have an impulse back up inside, but this is somewhat of a bearish impulse because we have a lower high here followed by this lower low. So what we're seeing right here is an indication that there may be a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of weakness. So let's not get caught in a trap. Let's ride the wave as we should. Now, coming back here, remember, we need to be patient. To take advantage of the most gains, we've got to be patient and employ a strategy that works. Now, getting back to the chart, what does this mean? You said, Kelly, that there's going to be some volatility today. Volatility does not mean upside. Volatility means movement of price quickly. It could be up, down, sideways. It just means it's not going to just be doing this. Maybe there's not a conclusion to the case today, but there's going to be comments about all this stuff going on that could drive a speculative pump or dump. And I think if that's the case, if it's on comments, it would be a trap. So if it breaks down, it might be a trap, then come back up. If it breaks up, it might only come somewhere in this, relative area here, which is near where this previous high is, and reject back down. The point here is that things right now, everybody wants to just get running right now. And so we allow ourselves to be blinded by a bias that only makes us donate our money to other smarter people. Let's not donate our money to other smarter people. Now, this is looking very bearish on a couple accounts. The breakdown here, the impulse up, lower high here, and then this sort of falling back. This is not a head and shoulders, but it looks very similar with this sort of shoulder, head, shoulder. I'm not going to call it a head and shoulders because it's quite sideways, but very similar structure, which is indicating some weakness has come into the market right here. So let's go option T. If you're on PC, it's Alt T. We got a little bit of a line there. If we lose this line, I think we may be working our way a little bit lower. But what does this mean for the coins we're looking at? Well, let's go ahead and back out a little bit. I want to, where are we at? Talked about Dogecoin setting up for a potential move. Remember, this is a macro chart. Macro chart doesn't mean moves coming today. It could be coming next week. It could be coming in 3 weeks. This is for me a good analogous, whatever the word is, for the crypto, for the altcoin market. People lose their life savings wanting this and getting chopped out in this. Don't be that person. That's why I'm pointing this out. Now, coming over here, ETFs, this is still something that is driving a little bit of the negativity in the space. There's some uncertainty about what's going on here because of the outflows of GBTC. Who gives a shit if there's outflows of GBTC? That was expected if you're paying attention to the data. They had a negative premium of almost minus 50%. It was like minus 44% or something for months at the bottom of the bear market, meaning you can get almost twice the exposure to Bitcoin than you're buying into because of that negative premium. Now that that premium gap is closed, we're back near equilibrium, near about minus 1% or something. Some people were only in that play specifically because they wanted to play that premium arbitrage. Other people see these other ETFs and it's like, well, I could stay with GBTC or I could move my money out to these other ETFs that have lower management fees. But in addition to that, we have to realize that this ETF play, with all the data coming from Grayscale and all the other Bitwise, all the other ETFs, Bitwise, BlackRock, ARK Invest, VanEck, which just withdrew their application. They're dissolving their Bitcoin spot ETF because they're not seeing much traction. But all these other Bitcoin spot ETFs are seeing incredible volume. They did more volume than the other 500 ETFs that launched this year combined. And this is in the first 3 or 4 days. This is incredible. This is not a failure. This is an absolute remarkable win for the Bitcoin space to be on the stage globally of the finance world, traditional finance world, to have exposure and access for these people. Now, we're seeing some money flow out of Grayscale. Fine. We're still seeing just on BlackRock alone, a record amount of volume, buying volume, inflow volume, more so than we've seen on any of these other traditional asset ETFs. There is a huge thing going on here This fire is only but a spark right now, but I'm telling you, it's going to be an inferno. Are you ready? Are you ready for this inferno? That's what we need to keep our minds on right now. Now, I want to point out this chart right here. This is an excellent chart when we're talking about that inferno, when we're talking about where things can go. This is Bitcoin price. Boom, 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 boom. Now, this is the Bitcoin regression. This is basically showing adoption curves of the internet adoption model, the speed at which internet was adopted, I should say, I could speak, plus or minus about 2% either direction. And it gives you these sort of bands roughly correlated to about where price can go. And look at how price has actually traveled within this. Okay, very overheated here. Of course, the market cap was much smaller. We still got quite a bit overheated here twice in the double top we had in the previous cycle top. We went below. So this is showing great areas of ideas about where we're at in the market as well, but it also gives a loose projection about where we could be going. Now remember, this is December 2023. So by December 2024, the question is going to be, and we've already done a lot of analysis on this, we've talked about this, I think we'll be somewhere near this line, somewhere up in here. It's going to all depend on what happens with these capital flows on ETFs. And if there's other black swans, we have global conflict going on right now. There's a lot of things at play. But the point is, when price comes down and dips below this doesn't scare me. This says, oh, opportunity. Oh my God, opportunity. Oh, what opportunity? So stop looking at negative price action and being scared. Say, where's the opportunity for me to capitalize? Because where we're at right now is essentially right about where we should be. We see in this previous halving cycle, price went all the way up to this band and came down. I won't necessarily say it got rejected from this band because this isn't really an analysis band on a chart somebody would be trading, but it just happens to line up with an exact area at which price rejected. This also is perfectly within the golden pocket of this high and this low. So if you measure from here to here, the 61.8% move is right here. Similarly, where we're at right now, from this top to this bottom, the 61.8% move. This is nature's golden ratio. If you don't know what fibs are, make sure you get inside BitLab Academy. Make sure you at minimum go and Google Fibonacci trading, because it has to do with the golden ratio of how all of nature is organized, how flowers make perfect petals that are very symmetrical, and how branches figure out where to put branches out on their trees, how forests organize themselves, how nautilus shells are perfectly symmetrical and grow over time. It also has something to do with where, when you're looking at price action, where you can look for likely bounces to come up to and test and potentially reject. This is where we're at right now. From this top to this bottom, this is the 61.8. Now come back over to this chart. We've talked about this a lot, but sometimes we have to break it back down for the basics. So we come over here. Now, if I draw from right here, Option F, Alt F if you're on PC, from this top, I'm marking from the very top to this bottom right here. If we come over right here, let me go out just a little bit. Boom. I'm just making sure my cursor goes across. Let me turn off the BitLab volume. And you see, I haven't marked out this golden pocket. That's what the 61.8 is, 48%. And we can see right here, what does this say right here? 61.8%. Look at this wick went right up in here into this pocket between the 61.8 and the 65. So price went right to where we had marked out in January of last year. I've talked about this at length, and I have to show you again so you really understand. These are things that you can project over time. I did this January 29th last year, basically a year ago, and I said, this is likely a path we're going to take. We're going to get this is before all the ETF narrative, this is before all that, because this is where we tend to go. This was a golden pocket in the previous. This is a golden pocket where we're at right now. The question is going to be, are we going to break down or push up? Shout out Alexander G, $20 super chat. Feeling grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for each and every one of you that is here watching, that's hit the like button, whether you hit the like or dislike. I'm just happy you're here. I'm happy you're asking yourself how you feel about what I'm talking about. I'm okay with you agreeing or disagreeing. I want you to make your own analysis. I want you to see what I'm doing, learn something from it, and have it have an impact on your life, whether I'm talking about crypto or talking about how to center ourselves and find happiness. Because remember, I don't want to make a bunch of money just to make a bunch of money. My why is to make money so that I can have more freedom to help others. That's my why. That's what my goal is. So when we see these technical markers and we've laid this out for over a year and we see that the price action came up into it, regardless of the ETF news, technically speaking, we're right on schedule for where we're at. Now, I've showed you the Bitcoin, I've showed you the halving progress time and time again, but I got to show you again. This is where we're at right now. This is that gap that we're trying to close right here. This is the gap, and it just marks it out on previous cycles. And we can see that we are coming into that time. Let's not get chopped out. We could go up, could go down, because we had the impulse here up to that golden pocket much earlier, much more time between when that happened to the sell-off into the halving, which was way over here. We also had this push sort of chopping up like a stair. This was much healthier, surprisingly, back in the 2015, 2016 cycle. Where we're at right now, I feel like we're more like the 2015, 2016 cycle than this 2018, 2019 cycle. Because look at this, it's just much more working its way up versus just impulse. So even with the ETF narrative, why is that? Because our market cap's larger. It takes more monetary energy to push us up that hill. So when we're looking at the price right now, I'm not worried about this because we got rejected at a known level. We had bearish divergence coming into this, signaling that the underlying buying pressure and the excitement around bulls actually pushing higher was actually signaling weakness in this move to the upside, suggesting a likely trap and reversal. This is what we got. But this is where we're watching right now, because it's looking right now like it's trying to hold on. It's trying to hold on. We're looking at the 3-day, and now look at this. Huge impulse to the downside, bearish engulfing candle, coming down to a spinning top, another sort of kind of a spinning top. It's almost like a inverted hammer candle right here, you know, with the larger wick to the upside, but very small body. But if we get down on this 4-hour chart, we can see a little bit more resolution. We see that we lost this dotted line. It's not just some dotted line. It is a dotted line that projects this trend line all the way back here from September 2022. Rejection, 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 support, rejection, support, support. If we go across, we are hanging on to this like I don't want to drop because there's still a lot of underlying bullishness. I think we need to clear some of that out, unfortunately. Does that make you mad for me to say that? I hope it doesn't. But if it does, you need to ask yourself what your bias is. If you have a bias in this market, you're going to be wrecked. Let the market signal you where it's trying to go. As it shows right now, we had 6 bullish divergences right here. I want you to notice something. 6 bullish divergences suggesting this was far too bearish a price action and it should go up. And look at this. Could not even result in an upward movement. Large sell-off, recovery, a little bit of chop to the upside. It came up with some wicks breaking this region, but essentially we're holding on right here on the 4-hour to this trend signal line right here. Called this perfectly. This is part of the BitLab trading stack. All these indicators you see on the screen that I utilize, it's part of our BitLab trading stack. You can get it at bitlabacademy.com. Just come right here to indicators. You can also just enroll here, and this top selection, this has our premium Discord with charts and community and hangouts and setups, and there's so much in there. But this also has the indicators. If you just want the premium Discord, it's right here. I want all access, and that gives you the Discord and the courses. This also has the courses as well, but we got a lot of courses in there. We got some really great stuff coming. I can't wait to share it with y'all. I want you guys to be prepared for what's coming. So even if you've been trading a little bit, go through these courses: psychology of trading, trading fundamentals, breaking down how to break down different market trade metrics and signals, and understand candles and candle patterns. These are all broken down into 5 to 8 minute specific lessons on specific topics, so you can do them in bite-sized ways. And then hop over into the Discord where we got so much going on in here, breaking these things down. Instead, Corduroy's been sharing some fire lately, and John Dalton always sharing some great stuff. I was in here showing exactly what I was looking at the last couple days, why I was thinking Ethereum was going to have a pullback. This called this perfectly. So I want you guys to get in here, get involved. There's a free section as well. Head over to BitLab. The link is down in the description. If Alexander G, oh, she's got it right there. Thank you for sharing that. So get in there. Let's do a little bit more. Now we got to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum, I said, came up right into that level and has failed. Now, could we have signaled this failing? Well, we knew the level that we're looking at, but let's look at the 1 hour. Now let's right here where we're looking, option V, I'm just marking that out. Now let's go down to the 7 minute. I want to see what this looks like. In the 7 minute, where we can get more resolution, meaning more candles across that time period, because each bar, remember, if I'm looking at the 7 minute, each bar is 7 minutes. If I'm looking at 5 minute, then each bar is 5 minutes. Now look at this on the 5 minute. Pushing up to a known level, it likely could get rejected from. And look at the chart formation here. Head and shoulders. Textbook, head and shoulders. Head and shoulders, essentially, with this neckline right here. It doesn't matter if this is perfectly straight or not. Shoulder, head, shoulder. So this is a bullish impulse, tries, fails. Another bullish impulse, tries, fails. It's also a little bit higher. Yeah, we got a wick here, but we're talking about candle bodies in this case. Push up a little bit higher. Now we have a lower high here. That's much, another attempt. The bulls are getting weaker. Bulls try, bring it back. Bulls try again, bears bring it back. Bulls try, bring it back. The bulls are like, screw this. I'm getting out of this trade. Or other people, even if they're not in the trade, I'm no longer looking to enter a trade. What do we see? We see price action lose this neckline, and then ultimately this is, obviously goes down a lot further than this. If you're trading just a breakout though, the breakout is just like that. You measure from the top of this head to this neckline, and once this broke down, look, it came down to this level, right about right here, just shy of it, came back up, confirmed this breakdown. This is exactly what we want to see on a pattern breakdown. Breakdown comes up, retests this neckline right here, right? This neckline is what this neckline is what I'm talking about right there. Comes back up, tests it, and then breaks back down. So this was telling us, coming up into that level on the smaller time frame, this was the impulse. We saw it on the 1 hour. We saw the price action. I don't know where the hell the price went. There we go. Okay. Very hard to do this with the trackpad. Came into that level. Did we have a signal? That's when you go down to the smaller time frames and see what's going on. Now, where we're at right now, here's on the 1 hour. Here's on the 1 hour. God damn it. Trackpad. There we go. Price action coming down. We're finding some support right now. This is a point of control. This line right here. Point of control. Simple explanation. The price level, each one of these bars, how high, how big this gets and how small it gets, is how much volume was traded at these specific price points. So we see more volume was traded, more Ethereum was traded at this price point than it was right here. Why? Because this is bigger. And this area right here with this line that's coming out, this line is a point of control, the price point at which the most volume has traded on this view. Because you'll see as I zoom out, that point of control will move once it loads here in a second. There we go. You see now the point of control is down here. But we're seeing price levels that have a lot of areas of interest. So again, this is part of the BitLab trading stack, the indicator that I was just telling you about. You can get over here, bitlabacademy.com. By the way, it's a great way to get involved in this community in a real way and also help us keep the lights on and bring more content to you guys. Being a member of BitLab really does, whether it's here on YouTube or in the BitLab Academy, it really helps build the community, but also helps us grow and offer you all more stuff. So what we're looking at right now, Ethereum, it did push up. We're getting a little bit of a broadening wedge here. You see this right here? Let's see. A little bit of a broadening wedge here, kind of angled to the upside. This is looking weak here, but we're at this level. We have lost this level. So where would I suggest the price may be going? Depending on what is happening with this court case, remember, sometimes TA can just kind of reverse in the opposite direction based on big narrative news like this Coinbase SEC. This will have a lasting impact and a formative impact on how the market, how regulators are able to engage, especially SEC is able to regulate by enforcement, which is what they've been doing. And it could contextualize kind of what is a security and what isn't. So we need to be paying attention to this, but this is looking a little weak right here. If we do break down further, I'm looking at testing down likely into this green block right here, which is part of the BitLab volume. Automatically propagates this order block zone down here and basically below 2,500 in the 2475 sort of region. As it stands right now, though, It's not yet there. That's just where it could go. Where it's at right now, as we see, let's go down the 15-minute chart. Internet, there we go. We see this falling down, fall, retrace, continuation, chop. Look at this, chop to the downside, chop to the upside, clearing liquidity in both directions. Now it's made its move to the downside. So it faked out to the downside, faked back out to the upside, came right into this order block. Look at these. I'm telling you, watch these order blocks. And then it comes right back down and loses here. Now, where it's standing right now, it looks like it's trying, markets are likely kind of waiting on a little bit of that news for what happens with Coinbase. But as it stands right now, it's looking like it's having a little bit of a pause. The stochastics have come down. They've reset this orange line. It's starting to angle back up. We see the momentum was very deep, came back up, but it's already sharp angle back down. Negative money flow. So things are not looking super bullish. We do have some bullish signals broadly on here on the dashboard on this time frame. But if we come out here on the 4-hour, you can see generally it's in a fairly bearish sort of stance right now. So I think what we're likely looking at is coming down and testing into the zone and chopping a little bit. If we lose this zone, we may be coming down, down in the 23s, 22s sort of zones. But guys, everything that's happening right now, everything that's happening in this market right now is there to trigger your emotions so that you give over, so that you sell out of your bags, so other smarter money and bigger players can get better prices before the epic bull run. So, I want to look at SEI. Any of you guys buy or sell, buy, hold, trade SEI? I know this one has been making some moves lately. We've got a very interesting, let's look at this on the 1 hour. We got a beautiful sort of this cup and handle right here. Cup and handle is generally the trend coming like this and then having a little bit of a handle. And this is exactly what we have right here. Of course, we have chop throughout. It's also a smaller market cap coin, but we're seeing what we want to do here is come right here, do a, from the, basically the neckline, which this order block lines out perfectly from this top, roughly relatively to the bottom of this, the depth of this. And the breakout to this shows that SEI is due, at least technically speaking. Let me go like this. There we go. This would represent a 40% move out of this if we get that. Now, why is this? Well, let's look at this. Remember, everything in these charts has to do with the narrative building, changing, consolidating. And in this case, if we go out on the 4-hour chart, we see the bears, we had a large impulse to the upside. We have a little bit of a sell-off and, debate about, this debate between the bulls and the bears. And it's resulting in, even though it's chopping to the downside, pushes up. We have a higher low, higher low, higher low, push up, higher low. So all the attempts that the bears are taking, the bulls are eating that up and not letting it get down further, which means the bulls are dominating this narrative until eventually the bears say, screw this. And the bulls are able to have a strong impulse, to the upside. So this is looking good. This is something that you could definitely look to a potential trade on, and that's up to you and your strategy. Now, we did have a little bit of a bearish divergence here on the momentum. However, here on that, we also see that the momentum, we see that the momentum came down and is already rolling back up, and we see the negative money flow. It's kind of turned gray here, which means that there isn't like an active increasing of negative money flow. It's kind of gone a bit neutral here. So we'd like to see this do what this happened right here, and then it flipped where you have positive money flow, which if that happens, then that gives that impulse, that fuel to push to the upside. Now looking at Link, let's look at Link. Link, let's go to the daily 12-hour, and look at this. This is just over a couple days. 24% move. Just a couple days. But what's concerning me about this is still currently a lower high than it is right here. We have a lower low followed by a lower high. This could indicate that we may be testing a little bit lower. I know you don't want to hear that. I forgot who said they wanted to look at a Link, but this is suggesting a little bit of weakness here. But at the same vein, we have a shoulder here, head, and shoulder here. So there's some mixed signals here as people are trying to figure out what the hell is going on with all this news with Coinbase. Now, as it stands right now, I wouldn't just bet because of this lower high, lower low, lower high, that this is coming down, because this is not yet confirmed. We still have 6 hours left to go on this candle alone. This still could be working its way up. So let's not just close it out, because this, I mean, look at this. That is bullish as it can be. Pretty large bull flag, if you ask me. And if this is the case, then let's just go to kind of, I'm just doing this very crudely. And now we can do one more right here to this, boom. And we say this, I'm going to do it from the middle just to be conservative. This shows a projected sort of target up to 32. Now, if we move this from the actual breakout point, that moves itself all the way up here to $38 if we get this breakout on this bull flag. So things are looking good. Let's not worry about the chop inside of this flag until we lose this level and come to in which case we have a plan already. This chop zone right here, I don't really see us unless the market really takes a big dump and like broadly, or some huge issue with Chainlink or something. I don't see this dipping beyond this point right here, the 1066 to basically $10 to $12. In fact, I don't even think we get down to 10 would be such a good buy price for Chainlink. So coming down anywhere in this zone would be excellent. Guys, let's do Caspa and then Render, and then I got to go. I got a bunch of content I got to do. I got to do the newsletter today. All right. Caspa, 1 day chart, large impulse to the upside. I mean, this makes sense. A little bit of a pullback. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about this at all. What I really like to see right here is that this is looking very good. It's almost as if you could kind of go like this. There we go. Yeah. So top, rejection, 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 break out of this zone, come back, retest this, flipping of previous resistance to support. And right now it's trying to, it's kind of like, all right, you guys ready? You guys ready to run? The second something breaks out, it doesn't always just do this, boom. Sometimes there's broader narratives, a little bit of concern, which is what I think we're seeing right now. Because of the poor performance of Bitcoin, there's still a correlation there. And yes, capital flows, from Bitcoin to ETH and then to mid caps and small caps, et cetera. We've seen that time and time again. But with the Bitcoin narrative over for being the trade because of the ETF narrative, however, the money not being a little confused, okay, sell the rumor sort of news, we're seeing a little bit of pullback in Bitcoin, but at the same time, we know that the deadline's coming up for the ETH ETF, which is, tied in with the altcoin market more specifically. And we see all this stuff going on with Coinbase. There's kind of a division of confusion of, do we, at the bulls and the bears are like, do we follow Bitcoin? Do we follow ETH? What's going on? There's a little bit of changing. There's an evolution going on in the space right now. But even if we ignore all that, this has a trend line. This is broken out of it. Currently, we are testing this, and it's looking like this is basically setting up for another attempt up here. What we want to see, if this does attempt higher, we want to take out the 1234 sort of zone right here. We do have some wicks higher, but here on the, let's go actually to the 4-hour time frame. We'll go to a 4-hour candle body top. Yeah, so 1241, 12 cents, 0.41, 1241 sort of zone. And we see as it's pushed up, look at this. Market cycle bottom on this small time frame, market cycle bottom, rise, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation. And you see how this rise and this one gets smaller, and then this one gets smaller, telegraphing weakness coming into this move. And then we get the M formation, and then the breakdown. So we have a full market cycle going on right here. Now we have the fall, rise, continuation, rise. And currently it's looking like we may be setting up, if this holds in this zone, a W formation to continue pushing higher. If we lose this zone, then the next level down is right here, the 10.6. And if we lose that, coming down here to 10 cents even, which would also mean, if that were the case, if this does fall through this, we're back inside of this zone. So I think right now is a little bit of patience, but things are looking good. We just get mad when it doesn't move the second we get into it. Well, if you got into something after it was already moving, sometimes the engine needs to cool down a little bit. So let's go ahead. Let's go to the 8-hour. Delete this Fibonacci. All right. Look at this big rising wedge. It's actually a little concerning because if this is the case, this could come all the way back up into here and come all the way from here, all the way back there. That's a 47% move. I'm just estimating where this rising support would come from. As it stands right now, just looking more locally, rise, coming down. We have the W formation right now. We're looking to break this zone right here. Basically this 4.32 sort of zone. If we're able to take that out and really push higher, I mean, that's a 23% move just up to support. So that's a tradable move, a scalp on a smaller time frame, right? Or this would probably actually take a couple days. It'd be like a 2 or 3 day trade. But that doesn't have to happen. This very well could come up to right here. See option J. See these previous lows right here? These previous lows are also in line with these previous high, low, 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 and chop right in here. So if we're able to take this out, we may get rejected right in here. So what do the signals say? Stochastics came down, reset right here. This is right where we bounced. Boom. Came back down, reset just a little bit higher, which is okay because the price is higher as well. So there's a lot of agreement there. Price moving up, RSI is angled up, but the money flow is negative. If we really want to see this push up, we need to see this roll back over into positive money flow. So that's on this 8 hour though. What does it look like on the 2 hour? 2 hour got that positive money flow flip. Great. We need to see this increase, not sort of go stagnant and fall off. As it stands right now, even though this is coming up, we do have a little bit of disagreement between the RSI and the stochastics right here. So let's sort of pay attention to what it is we want to do. If you're trading on the 2 hour time frame, that trade was right here where we got this sort of W and then a larger W right here. We zoom this out so you can see. See this W, but then we also have this boom, boom, boom. This was a trade right here, really breaking out this point of control. Where it stands right now, I'd be waiting to see what happens right in this zone if you're doing smaller time frame trade. If you're doing a position trade and you're looking to hold this through the cycle, somewhere near a market cycle top where you're going to take huge profits, then any time's a good time, just so long as you have conviction to hold. But that's what I'm seeing in the markets, everybody. Hope you're feeling good. And again, thank you, Alexander G, for that super chat. You guys have no idea how much that helps. Dealing with a lot of stuff from the guy who shall not be named. But I'm here every day for you guys, for myself too. I feel good being here with you, sharing things that I've learned, growing from you, learning about what you guys asked for. You know what I'm going to do? I see one more coin, Strike 8096, said he wants to see Arbitrum. I meant to pull that up anyway, so I'm going to look at ARB, ARB, and then we're going to go. So look at this. Push up, M formation, breakdown, rounding top, signaling further bearishness. This right now is riding on this sort of high right here. It's kind of pushed all the way through this order block zone. So as it stands right now, if we lose this, I think there could be a deeper fall somewhere down into this region, the $1.75, $1.80 sort of region. This top here, $1.82, but somewhere in this region, likely even testing into this order block down here. So things are not looking necessarily good or bad. It's looking a little indeterminable because this is rising breakdown. See, we have this trend line right here and then rise, but this is a little bit weaker rise. Signal of a bit, retrace sort of bearishness. And this is signaling still bearishness within this. So yeah, if we lose this level, $1.90, $1.97, I think we're coming down into the $1.80s, high $1.70s. If we're able to bounce right here on this sort of support line right in here, then I think we're going to need to take out 209, 211 sort of region before we can then look to 216 and beyond. But I'm just in the waiting game right now, letting the charts sort of shake out all the different news that's come in the last couple of days, and let everybody just kind of settle the score themselves. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I want to encourage you all to find some random person or person in your life or something that you can do something randomly kind for, not ask for thanks, not even look for what it is, how they respond to it. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Let's all be people that drive positivity in the worlds that we walk in, the people that we meet. Let's recognize things in other people and compliment them on them. Real things. Don't make it up. Hey, I like your shirt. Hey, I really like your jacket. Hey, you know what? That was a good thought. Let's all be more positive. That's what I'm about. And I hope I can inspire all of you are too. I love you. I appreciate you. I got other work to do. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being my friend. Love you guys. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Hit that like button, sucker.